Okay, welcome back. Um, Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Charles R. Swindoll. All right, so right now we're working on responsive web design. This is FreeCodeCamp.org, and we are learning accessibility by building a quiz app. Accessibility is making your web page easy for all people to use, even with people with disabilities. In this course, you will build a quiz web page. You'll learn accessibility tools such as keyboard shortcuts, ARIA attributes, and design best practices. There are, excuse me, there are 68 steps in this course, mini course. Let's see how many we can get through. So this is what we're building. We've got a little student info section, a little HTML section, and a little CSS section. Cool. All right, start coding. All right, step one. Welcome to the first part of the accessibility quiz. As you become a seasoned HTML and CSS developer, we have started you off with the basic boilerplate. Start this accessibility journey by providing a lang attribute to your HTML element. This will assist with the screen readers in identifying the language of the page. All right, congratulations. On to the next page. Step 2. You may be familiar with the meta element already. It is used to specify information about the page, such as title, description, keywords, and author. Give your page a meta tag with the appropriate char sets. Okay. UFTF-8. All right, on to the next step, step 3. Continue with the meta elements. A viewport definition tells the browser how to render the page, including one one better visual accessibility on mobile and improves SEO, search engine optimization. Add a viewport definition with a content attribute detailing the width and initial scale of the page. Okay, so that's going to be meta name equals viewport, and then gonna have a content attribute equal to width equals device width initial scale equals 1. I think that's it. All right, your code passes on to step 4. Another important meta element for accessibility and SEO is definition. All right. The value of the content attribute is used by search engines to provide the description of your page. All right. So meta description equals we'll just say quiz. Content equals Let's see. Should give the name attribute of description. Oh, and it should be, yeah, quiz app. So let's try that. All right, there we go. On to step 5. Lastly, in the head, the title element is useful for screen readers to understand the content of the page. Furthermore, it is an important part of SEO. Give your page, excuse me, tired today, a title that is descriptive and concise. Mm, accessibility quiz. All right, your code passes. On to step 6. Navigation is a core part of accessibility, and screen readers rely on you to provide the structure of your page. This is accomplished with semantic HTML elements. Add a header and a main element to your page. Okay. All right. The header element will be used to introduce the page as well as provide navigation menu. The main element will contain the core content of your page. All right, congratulations, your code passes. Please submit your code to continue. All right, on to step 7. The header, provide context about the page by nesting one image, one H1, and one nav element. Okay. All right. The image should point to there. Okay, let's copy that. Paste. All right, so that's pasted. The image should also have an ID of logo and alt text of FreeCodeCamp. All right, the H1 should contain this text. Okay. And it should have ID equal to logo. It should have alt text equal to FreeCodeCamp. Okay. Congratulations, that's it for step 7. On to step 8. A useful property of an SVG scalable vector graphic is that it contains a path attribute which allows the image to be scaled without affecting the resolution of the resulting image. Currently, the image is assuming its default size, which is too large. The CSS has a max function, which returns the largest of a set of comma-separated values. For example, image width or colon max 250 by 25 view width pixels view width. Okay, VW. In the above example, the width of the image will be 250 pixels if the viewport width is less than 1000 pixels. If the viewport width is greater than 1000 pixels, the width of the image will be 25 VW. This is because 25 VW is equal to 25% of the viewport width. Scale of the image and its ID. Scale the image using the ID as a selector. Right. So the ID was it logo? So we're going to use logo as a selector, and I don't remember how to use an ID as a selector. Oh, you put the hash character in front of it to use the ID. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna do I'm gonna do width max is gonna be 10 rem or 18 view width. Check that. All right, code passes. So it's super small up there now. All right, submit and go to the next step. As described in the FreeCodeCamp style guide, the logo should retain an aspect ratio of 35 divided by 4 and have padding around the text. First, change the color background color to this. All right. So you can see the logo. Then use the aspect ratio property to set the desired aspect ratio. Finally, add padding of 0.4 rem all around. There you go. All right, congratulations. That's it for step 9. On to step 10. Step 10, make the header take up the full width of its parent container. Okay. Set its height to 50 pixels. All right, and set the background color to that. right. Then set the display to use Flexbox. Oh, width. Hmm. Display of Flex. All right, on to step 11. All right, step 11. Change the H1 font color. Okay. This. Oh, it's a funky color. And set the font size to 5, view width 1.2 em. Hmm? What was font size? There we go. All right, on to step 12. To enable navigation on this page, add an unordered list um, with the following 3 items inside. Should nest one A element inside each Li. Anchor. All right. So unordered list with 3 list elements, and then anchors inside. Submit and go to the next step. Step 13. The child combinator selector is used between selectors to target only elements that match the second selector and are a direct child of the first selector. All right. This can be helpful when you have a deeply nested element and want to control the scope of your style. Use the selector to target the unordered list elements within the nav elements, and use flexbox to evenly space the children. Okay. Not sure if that's right. Find out in a minute. Doesn't look right. And then oop, so check that out. Oh, justify content space evenly. All right. Here it is. Okay. So on to step 14. As this is a quiz and you need a form for users to submit answers, you can semantically separate the content within the form using section elements. Within the main element, create a form with 3 nested section elements. Then make the form to submit to there. Okay. So within the main, I'm going to create a form. And within the form, there's going to be 3 sections. All right. And then on submit, it's going to equal, it's going to send everything to here, I would guess. Copy. Keep forgetting this. All right. Quiz. Let's check that. Uh-oh. Action attributes, not submit. Okay. You could give the form a method attribute with the value of post. Because it's going to be sending a post request. All right. To this URL, I'm guessing. All right. Post. All right, step 15. To increase the page accessibility, the role attribute can be used to indicate the purpose behind an element on the page to assistive technologies. The role attribute is part of the Web Accessibility Initiative, WAI, and accepts present values. Give each of the section elements the region role. Oh, the section. All right. Every region role requires a label, which helps screen readers users understand the purpose of the region. One method for adding a label is to add a heading element inside the region and then reference it with the ARIA labeled by attribute. Add the following ARI labeled by attributes to the section info. Okay. Student info. HTML questions. CSS questions. Okay. Oh, you should nest one H2 element within the first section element. And within each section, nest one H2 element with an ID matching the corresponding. Okay. So, student info. Our second H2 is going to be ID is going to be equal to HTML questions. All right, and our last H2 is going to be, it's going to have an ID equal to CSS questions. All right, let's check that out. Oh, student info. Okay, so these should match. And then I think they should actually have text in there too. And then the second H2 should be HTML, questions, and the third H2 should be CSS, questions. Let's try now. All right, code passes. That's it for step 16. Going on to step 17. Nope, and we'll just pause till our supporter video is over. All right, on to 17. Typeface plays an important role in the accessibility of a page. Some fonts are easier to read than others, and this is especially true on low-resolution screens. Change the font for both the H1 and H2 elements to Veranda. H1, H2. Um, uh, font is going to be Verdana. Let web say font as a fallback. Sans serif. Okay. Also add a border bottom (4 pixels) solid BFD FE2. Oh, not family. Plus. Um, maybe I'm not supposed to have a comma. H1 and H2. Oh wait, I should have a separate one for that. H2. This. There we go. That's it for 17. On to 18. To be able to navigate within the page, give each anchor element an href corresponding to the ID of the H2 elements. Okay. All right. Oh. Equals. All right. And that would be student info. HTML questions. Questions with an S. And CSS questions. Check. Oh. Oh, hashtag. All right, step 18 is done. On to step 19. All right, step 19, filling out the content of the quiz. Below the student info, add 3 div elements with a class of info. Then within each div, nest 1 label element. and one input element. Okay, so we're going to have 3 divs. So let's just make one first, because within these, we're going to be making more divs. And then within each div, we're going to have one label and one input. Inputs. I think the input are self-closing. And then we're going to want how many of these? I think they said 3. Okay. Okay. All right. Filling out the content of the 3 div elements with the class of info. Uh-oh. Okay. All right, on step 20. It is important to link each input to the corresponding label element. This provides assistive technology users with visual references to the input. This is done by giving the label a for attribute which contains the ID of the input. This section will take a student's name, email address, and date of birth. Give the label elements the appropriate for attributes as well as text content. Okay, so student name. So I'll start with um, email address. Okay. And date of birth. Okay. Then the input elements correspond to the label elements. Okay. For student name. For email address. For GOB. Input ID equals DOB. I do. That's fine. ID equals email address and ID equals student All right, that'll work. And that is it for this video. So that is steps 1 through 20 of making an accessibility quiz app. So we're starting to see some structure here. All right, I will see you in the next video. Step 21. See you guys there.